What's going on, family? What's going on? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm back at you guys again, with another topic. It's called death versus transition. And now, originally, when I was thinking of doing this topic, because I know it's deep, it's a heavy topic. First, I was thinking about, let me just go in here and just rip the Band-Aid off. Let me just rip the Band-Aid off and just give it to him. Meanwhile, after I sat back and thought about it, I'm not really too, I'm looking to teach what I know to whoever's willing to listen. But at the end of the day, I understand that some people are just now coming into the truth. Some of the people are just waking up. So I really can't just rip the Band-Aid off, especially in dealing with this topic right here, because there's so much to dive into. It's so much, that this topic can be let off of. So I really can't just go in here and rip the Band-Aid off like I intended to do. But I can tell you that with me sitting here and going over the material that I wanted to present, I can tell you that this is probably going to be, done in parts. So you're probably going to get a part 1, a part 2. You're probably going to have a part 3. We'll see, whatever's needed in order for me to cover all of the different things that I want to touch base on, without losing, the main point, the main parts that I want everybody to know. All right. So with that being said, let's get into today's topic. Again, it's death versus transitioning. Who told you when you're dead, you're done? Who told you that? Who told you that when you die, everything is finished, it's over? There's nothing left to be done. Whatever you did in your life, you're just waiting to be judged for. You're dead, it's over. You can't apologize for nothing. You can't make up for nothing. You can't do nothing else. Who told you when you were dead, you're done? This is only one of the biggest mind manipulations ever told in order to use your fear to produce money, to produce other benefits for other people's gain. You don't think so? Some of you are dead right now. Dead to the knowledge of yourself and all of the many falsified ideologies around you that you would even kill your own for believing it not. Yet, you live. You live in an endless repetition of lies, deceit, betrayal, hurt, pain, and despair. All in the name of their God, in whom you are told you should place your trust. And you say, "Thank you, Lord. It's all good." What is death? Death is absolutely not when you're dead, you're done, like what was taught to us. The truth is, death is what happens to the body when it ceases its operations and is unable to function for one purpose or another due to the malfunction of its automatic processes. Your body, your vessel, your avatar, whatever you want to call it, is the original artificial intelligence. Though corruptible, mostly due to environmental factors, nutrient and mineral disruptors and blockers, corrupt people, and a multitude of parasites, it is still intelligence at its finest. Until today, even until today, there are still many unknowns about all of the ins and outs of the body, its organs, its processes, and purpose. But I digress. Death is an illusion that feels very, very real, especially when it affects your loved ones. Especially when it affects never seeing your loved ones again in this realm as you knew them. That's a hard thought and a hard pill to swallow. But I want you to keep in mind, I said you won't see them again in this realm the same as you knew them. You are not the body. You are not your vessel, but you are the substance in which animates the vessel. You are a being, a living soul, and souls never die. The proper term to be used is transition. It is even suitable to say that someone has passed away. Though that also then leads to the question, what is transitioning and what is passing? So transition means to go from one state to the next, one condition to the next condition, one form to the next form, and etc. and etc. In life, we have all been to school and we have experienced transitioning from one grade to the next. This transitioning is also known as passing from one grade to the next, a form of leveling up. What does this mean? It means that your loved ones did not die, they transitioned, they passed, and or leveled up. They completed their lessons here and have moved on to a new school of thought, if you will, in which they will experience things that this realm, this dimension, this world can no longer offer them. I know. Some of y'all think this is beyond belief, this ain't real, she'll know what she's talking about. But why is that? It's because you have been programmed to believe that it is. And any other thought is deemed crazy or conspiracy. The ones in charge do not benefit from you knowing the truth. The day that the masses learn the truth, they can no longer be controlled and manipulated. The masses of this world gain more by keeping you unaware of the spirit realm and disconnected from it. You could dethrone them today and cast them away if only you knew you could. If you don't know the power you have at your fingertips to wield, or the authority that you hold, why would they tell you when they can just siphon your power and use your authority for their own gain? Though they put it in your face, they put it in our faces all the time. On a regular basis they do it. In all sorts of movies and TV shows. But then they turn around and they call it fiction. And people eat that up. They believe it. They will show you things in movies that they will acknowledge is based off of a true story, but will have you thinking it's not a regular ongoing occurrence, or that they only spiritual communication being experienced is via demonic activity or possession. But this is also incorrect. They have done a very good job at confusing the masses on this topic, but behind the scenes they know what it is, and so do people like me. We know what it is too. It's awfully tricky to demonize and stigmatize our cultural things, so much so that we detach from it, or else. But under the cover of dark, they covered it for themselves, and now utilize our things against us. Tricky. Very tricky. However, there is no master that has taught their student everything that they know. Some things known cannot be explained or taught. There are a lot of people out there that are afraid to speak on their spiritual experiences or spiritual occurrences. This is because of the labels that will be attached to them for speaking it out. Understand that everyone does not experience these things and cannot even begin to wrap their minds around the things that others have experienced. So they would rather call you a liar than to believe that they were excluded from something, and because they don't understand, there is something wrong with you. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are not crazy because they are blind. Many of us have spiritual gifts. Yes, gifts, meaning more than one. We came here with them, and for some of us, its existence manifested in our youth. For others, it may have activated after a traumatic experience, after an awakening, or whatever. A spiritual gift, for those that don't know it, is an ability that you did not have to be taught and you did not need to practice in order to become good at it. It is a gift as it was given to you, though it may feel more like a curse. It is usually something that you cannot control, and in my experience, you may not even want it, but will soon find it necessary and even beneficial for you to have. I myself personally have multiple gifts. They go hand in hand. It scared the heck out of me when I experienced it for the first time as a child. But I can't say as an adult that I've become used to it, because that'd be a lie. I have, however, developed ways to cope with it. For this lesson, I'll discuss two of my gifts as it applies to the topic. Keep in mind that the names of things have changed over time. So has good made evil and evil made good. Do not get on here and try to get at me regarding things that you think you know, but you know not. The only way you can know anything is by experiencing it. However, even if you have, my experience is my own. Also, there are tools that some of us use to enhance our experiences, to influence or heighten our own gifts, and to garner some control over our gifts that have been demonized and stigmatized. I personally don't use anything. I don't need it, as I experience enough on my own. However, sometimes people feel that they need a bit of help, or for whatever other reason, that they may have. And I say, to each their own. Because in my experience, I know a lot of the times that, using your gifts is draining. And when you don't have any control over, your gifts, and when it's actually used, when it's activated, when you're being triggered to use these gifts, you don't have any control over it. So however many times it happens, if it happens every day, if it happens maybe 2 days a week, maybe it happens once a month, maybe it comes at you once a year, I can never win anybody's lottery. Okay, I can never win anybody's lottery with my gifts, because that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? I can get a message today and then not receive another message for 2 months down the line. I can receive a message tomorrow and then I can receive another 3 messages, the next 3 days consecutively. I don't have control over this gift that was given. But when I need to get a message, when I need to be in receipt of one, I get it. There's nothing I can do to stop it. However it's coming. You know what I'm saying? But there's some people out there that have found ways that work for them to be able to not use so much of their energies, or maybe they need a little bit more energy to do, whatever it is they're trying to do. And they use these tools, you understand what I'm saying, that we used back in the day, that are now stigmatized by the same people whom use these things themselves, undercover. So I say all of that to say, like I said, to each their own. If you're using anything, to each their own. Do not allow other people's opinion to sway you. If you are learned and you know what you are doing, and you are doing things for the correct reason, do your thing. But if that's not the case, I swear I hope you get everything you deserve. Why? For tampering with things that you don't have no business and trying to use it for ill intent. Do know that anything that you do with the wrong intent is going to come back to you the double or even more. depending upon, you know what I'm saying, what will be required as a karmic debt. I hope, you know what I'm saying, that people understand that. You have those that have gifts that was given to them. It's something natural, and they don't need anything or anybody else to help and assist. You understand what I'm saying? And then you have those that have learned. They have learned how to tap into certain forces and certain frequencies and vibrate, whatever, however you want to call it. They have learned to tap in. They have learned to, you know what I'm saying, go into other spiritual realms. They have learned how to tap in. And all I have to say to them is, you know, be careful. And like I said, if you're doing this, you know what I'm saying, to hurt, if you're doing this to harm and not help, I personally, you know what I'm saying, putting my energy out there to say, I hope you get everything that you deserve. Because I don't do what I do, you know what I'm saying, with the intent to harm anybody. I think that anything that I have done in my life has always been intended on helping somebody else. Always wanting to help. I didn't ask for the gifts that was given to me, right? And I might not have considered them, you know, something to hold on to, you know, because of how my gifts were presented to me. But right now, I have a respect for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I don't have control over it, because I don't have to worry about abusing it. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I would, but you have people out there that you know what I'm saying, make a life of manipulating people. And not that I can easily be manipulated or influenced, but you know, you just never know. You just never know. And so I, for one, am satisfied with the operations, how my gifts function. Discerning of spirits. This gift is seeing and hearing in the spirit realm. It is also the revelation of the spirit, and which has presented itself to you. And what I mean by that is being able to determine if the spirit, you know what I'm saying, is demonic, if it's divine. You know what I'm saying? It's coming, you know what I'm saying, in a helping, loving type of energy, and not a destructive, hurting type of energy. My gift goes a bit deeper than this, though, and can happen whether I am asleep or awake. If I am awake, I can hear, see, feel, smell, and taste that something has entered into my space. People often ask me, "You taste it?" I usually taste metal, like a metallic charge. Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, when I was a child, I used to do, you know, childish things. And one of the childish things that I did in my childhood was I would take one of them 9-volt batteries, them little 2-prong batteries or whatever have you take, and you put it on your tongue and you get the little shock, the little metal tasting shock. Well, that's kind of what happens, you know what I'm saying, in my mouth when something enters into my space. Something meaning energy. When another energy enters into my space, it's the same how I get. It's the same how you get. For those of you guys that don't have this gift, it'll be the same if somebody walked in the room and you felt them walk into the room before you seen them. Well, that's how I am. I know when somebody's in my space. When they walk into the room, what it feels like to me is how it sounds to you when you cut a TV on and you can hear that electricity before the actual picture shows up on the screen. Well, when something walks into my space or whatever have you, even if there is nobody physically here, I know when something walks into my space because of that charge, that electric charge that I get. I can feel it. You understand what I'm saying? I can sense it just like I can sense when somebody physically walks in the room. That's what it's like. If I'm asleep, I can see, hear, feel, and sometimes smell. At times it can be difficult to know, you know, if you're dreaming or if you're awake. But one of the ways I know when I'm awake and I'm having a vision and not a dream is when I can still hear everything that's going on around me and can tell you about it while still being able to express the message in the vision. In both experiences, all conversations and communications are telepathic. We never move our mouths. So whoever I'm speaking to, if there's a person that I can see, whoever I'm speaking to never moves their mouth, and never do I once have to move mine. Everything is done telepathically. They can hear me, I can hear them. There's still hand movements. You know how people use their hands to express their words. It's still a lot of that going on, or whatever have you. I can see emotions on the person's face. Usually, typically, I can feel it. I can feel the emotions. I don't know if you ever had a dream, and I'm gonna do a video on dreams too. That's gonna be another topic that we touch on. But anyway, if you ever had a dream and you woke up from that dream like, oh my God, I felt so real. The emotions are heightened. Not only, you know what I'm saying, you can feel the way you feel, but you can also feel the way the other person is feeling. So I might feeling sad about something, but somebody else could be angry. I'm feeling all of these different emotions. So I'm feeling my own emotions, and I'm feeling the emotions of the other party that I'm speaking to, that I'm communicating with. Okay. The second would be the second gift that I'm going to cover in this segment is going to be foresight. That is my second gift. I'll probably, you know what I'm saying, go into a later time, another day, you know what I'm saying, another segment, another, topics or whatever. I'll probably go into a couple of my other, but I don't want to just put all of my stuff out there like that. But one of my other gifts is foresight. Foresight, aka prophecy, is divine. It's supernatural messages given to forewarn or to foretell about future events. The message can come through a vision or a dream and can be given to you by someone in your dream, or it can come via images or as if you are there in the moment, the time and the place, watching it all happening and experiencing the emotions of the moment. Okay? There are divine spirits, aka benevolent spirits, and there are demonic spirits, aka malevolent spirits. And some say there are human spirits, but I'll dive into my thoughts on that at a later time, because that's a whole nother topic as well within itself. Just know that there are good and that there are evil in everything. Just know that. So when you're dealing with these spirits or whatever have you, and they're coming to you, whether it's via dreams, whether it's via however these spirits are coming to you, it is imperative that you try every spirit. The Bible, most people are familiar with the Bible. The Bible tells you that you need to be careful, because the spirits that you may entertain, may not be what you think. That sometimes these demons can turn themselves into an angel of light. You understand what I'm saying? And if they can turn themselves into an angel of light, then sometimes these, the negative spirits or demonic spirits can turn themselves into a loved one of yours. You understand what I'm saying? And they can fool you. So I'm doing this topic because I'm gonna show you how to pinpoint certain things, and how you know and understand when you're actually dealing with a loved one or when you're actually dealing with a negative spirit. Okay. But yeah, my first experience that I'm going to be talking about now, it started like this. There was an acquaintance of my sister, and my sister viewed this acquaintance, you know what I'm saying, as a father. So she treated him as such, making sure that he had what he needed and that he was fed and etc. He was introduced to us, you know what I'm saying, and we treated him as family as well. He was a shit talker, y'all. Excuse my language, but he was a shit talker. And I loved it because so am I. Okay, anybody that know me know I can talk some shit all day. Laugh and joke, but I'll talk some shit. I can back it up, but I talk some shit all day. And fun, you know what I'm saying? That's me. We would go back and forth every time we seen each other, but we would always end up laughing and having a few drinks afterwards. Well, one day, I was supposed to be spending the weekend over my sister's house, and we get there, and during this visit, he wasn't feeling too well. Well, long story short, he ended up in the hospital, and instead of me spending my weekend at my sister's house, I decided to take my kids home. A night or so after, I had a dream about the old man. He came to me. He looked clean, bright, even family. He looked so good. He looked healthy. He even looked a bit younger. He still looked like himself. He just looked like a better version of himself, if you will. So I greeted him as I always did. Hey, old man, what's up? I went on to tell him that he looked good and it was good to see him, and he smiled. He asked me if I could do him a favor and pass my sister a message for him. Now, I don't even know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in my dreams, I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm oblivious. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's by design. And I'll probably get into the reason why that happens to me. But moving on. Keeping up with our regular character upon meeting with each other, I said to him, I said, what the heck? What the heck do I look like, a receptionist? Why can't you tell her what you want her to know yourself? He was smiling at me the whole time I'm talking mess to him or whatever have you. He was smiling at me, you know, the way that he would, you know, any other time. But he didn't say anything until I was done. Giving me a sad smile, he then said to me, she won't hear me. I looked at him a bit, you know what I'm saying? Then I told him, I said, oh well, all right, I'll give her the message. He told me what to tell her. And after I asked him, I'm like, are you sure you don't want to get his message to her yourself? You know, because the message was heartfelt, guys. You know what I'm saying? And it sounded like more of a thank you and a goodbye. You know, he smiled at me again and he just reiterated to me that he would, but she wouldn't hear him. And still, I never thought anything of it. I told him I'll give her the message, and then I said my goodbyes to him, and boom, I woke up. When I woke up, I told my significant other at that time about the dream. You know, he wasn't new to hearing, you know, about my dreams or seeing, you know, the outcomes actually come to pass. So while he was sitting there processing my dream, I was about to go get me something to eat because I was pregnant, guys. At the time I was pregnant and I was hungry. Okay. You know, when I got to the doorway, he stopped me and he was like, yo, call your sister and tell her about the dream. And I was like, yo, I am, but let me get my food first. And he said, no, I think you should call her now. You know, and I got a little pissed off because I'm like, I'm hungry. Like this, I'm not playing. I'm hungry. You know, but I'm looking at his face and I'm just like, maybe, all right, let me call her. So I you know, decided to call her, told my sister everything about the dream. And, you know, she listened quietly the whole time. She didn't interrupt anything. You know, she still hadn't said anything right away after I finished, you know. But when she did, she was just like, yo, Tiff, let me call you back. You know, I was like, okay, well, you know, call me back. I hung up with her. And I felt like I always felt after passing off a message. I felt lighter. So at this point, you know, because I'm feeling lighter, I'm realizing, okay, I gave her that, and I was supposed to give her that message. So it must have been something important, because I'm having the same feeling, you know, that I would typically have. My thing is this, guys. With my gift, when I'm meant to pass somebody a message, I'm meant to say something to them, I'm going to feel heavy and weighted down, all right? Extra heavy and weighted down, because I'm not a small chick. You know what I mean? So I'm carrying around some weight, but I feel extra heavy. It's a different kind of heavy, you know, and weighted down feeling. Until I actually pass this message off, I'm going to have this. If I wait too long, I might start feeling a little anxiety, a little antsy, or whatever have you. It'll ramp up. The longer I take to pass off the message that I'm supposed to give, you know, the more anxiety filled I become, the more nervous I become, the more, you know what I'm saying, the more uncomfortable I'm going to become. So at this point, I done passed off the message. I'm feeling lighter. Okay. I go out, I go to get my cereal, because like I said, I'm hungry. And by the time I ate one spoonful and was on my way walking back towards my room, I can hear my bedroom phone ringing. And I get, you know, to the doorway of my room, and I see, you know, my significant other at the time. He's like, your sister's on the phone and she's crying. I'm like, she crying? What the heck happened? So I get on the phone, you know, for her to tell me that she called the hospital to check on the old man, to find out that in the wee early hours of the morning, he had passed away. Guys, he came to me to tell me so that I can let my sister know, and so that he could give her his last words to her. I dropped my phone. I dropped my phone right out of my hand. I didn't even say goodbye to my sister. I think that I was about 19, maybe 20 during this time. And this is not, at this point, being either 19 or 20, this was not the first time this happened. But I told you that this was not something that happened every day. It happened when it happened. Periodically, you know what I'm saying, over the course of my life. My earlier experiences with my gifts began when I was about 5 years old. But those are gifts that I'm not talking about, you know, at this point, but I'm just saying my early experiences to let you know how long. So when I say that some of us get our gifts early, some of us tap into our gifts early for a reason. So at this point in my life, being the age of 19 and 20, no, it wasn't that, you know what I'm saying, I was shocked because I wasn't used to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how long you have a gift. There's just certain things that you're not going to just get. You're not going to get used to. Even now, at my age now, I'm still not used to it. I will do my job. I will still pass off whatever message I'm giving when I'm supposed to give them. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to ever get used to seeing certain things. You're not going to ever get used to experiencing certain things. That's just what it is. You learn how to deal with it. So at that time, you know, I dropped my phone and I looked, you know, at my guy at that time, and we just stared at each other. Now, let's see what we have here so far. I communicated with the dad, the so-called dad. If I lived in a not so distant past, guys, understand that I would have been burned at the stakes for this. And I didn't even do anything but go to bed and have a flipping dream. Or so I thought. It was a dream. In present time, what do you think they would try to do to me? I'm going to leave you to think about that. And maybe y'all can put down in the comments what you would think what you think that they would do to me today. The last that I knew before this dream, the old man was in the hospital and there were no changes to his condition. He was stable. When I had this dream, I didn't know that he had died, guys. I was speaking with him as I always had, except neither of us was moving our mouths. But that wouldn't have told me anything different in the dream, because it's like that in all of my dreams. We're telepathic. We don't move our mouths in any of my dreams. In this dream, he still smiled and he was expressive with his hands. Nothing to indicate that I was speaking to what we would call a dead person. That's because he was not dead, guys. He transitioned. He moved on up like the Jeffersons. He looked like he was okay. Heck, he even told me that he was. But we are missing something, aren't we? The message he gave me. The message he gave me was letting me know that he was no longer physically here. Though very subtle. So subtle that I didn't catch on. But that likely happened not to frighten, so that he didn't frighten me. And he was giving me his thanks and his appreciation from my sister, and sending his love to her as well as his goodbye. I may not have acknowledged it as often. I may not have acknowledged it as I often didn't in times past, but my significant other and my sister recognized it and they acted on it to confirm, and it was correct. That's one experience that I'm sharing with you guys in regards to discerning of the spirits. And I'm going to share with you guys on the next segment that I do, the next story in regards to foresight and prophecy. Because like I told y'all, my gifts go hand in hand. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll go into that on the next segment, because I don't want this video to be too long, because there's other things that I have to discuss with you guys. But one of the things that I want to stress is the importance of being able to discern between the spirits, and understanding that when you're told things or whatever via visions or via your dreams or whatever the case may be, you have to you have to try. You have to try these spirits, know who you're talking to, know what's happening, and then know that if it doesn't come to pass, you understand what I'm saying? That might not have been a message from the divine. It might not have been a message from, your loved one or whatever. It could have been, a trickster spirit. It could have been, demonic or whatever have you. I'll go into a situation to describe to you what I mean by a trickster spirit, because sometimes especially when you have these gifts or whatever have you, you deal with a lot of torment. Spiritually gifted people deal with a lot of torment. And if you a spiritually gifted person, then that you likely know what I'm talking about when I say we deal with a lot of torment, not just in the physical world, but in the spiritual world. We deal with a lot of torment, and when it comes down to our dreams, we deal with a lot of torment. So it's imperative, for us gifted ones to be able to identify who it is that we are dealing with when we are approached and we are given messages to give to other people. It's important for us to know that if you don't know how or whatever have you, that means that you need to get a hold of somebody who has more experience that'll be able to help you in learning some methods to use in order to be able to do that. But I'm going to stop it here, guys, because like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. And I will pick back up in another video to dive a little bit deeper, because at the end of all of this, you're going to know and either believe or not that your loved ones still exist beyond this place. And I'm going to give you, you know what I'm saying, a lot of different examples of mine, and you know what I'm saying, my loved ones that I lost, to let you know, you know what I'm saying, to show you or whatever have you, that your loved ones exist on the outside of this plane. They have moved up, they have leveled up or whatever have you, and you can no longer see them the way that you are accustomed to seeing them. But they are well. I'm going to go, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to end it with letting you guys know that this planet, so-called Earth, is, some people call it a prison. You know, I like to call it a school. And let me just let you know that this is not no elementary school, okay? This school is not for the weak, okay? It's a lot of different lessons being taught. We all learn the same lessons. We have our own path. We have our own walks, our journeys. We have our own tools that we were given for us to utilize. And, you know, I can't walk your walk and you can't walk mine. You understand what I'm saying? Our lesson plans are not the same. Okay? So, I'm saying this because people need to understand that. I know people want to look at you and point the finger, that bitch crazy, or look at you and point the finger, she don't know what she's talking about, this conspiracy theorist and this one. Yeah, they could do that all day, because they don't want to have to believe that everything that they thought they knew, you know what I'm saying, was wrong. For the most part, everybody considers themselves intelligent. But the day that you have to consider yourself stupid, you understand what I'm saying, it's one of the hardest days of your life. The day that you realize that you ain't know what you thought you were, what you thought you knew, and you wasn't as smart as you thought you were, is going to be one of the hardest days of your life. So we understand why people push back. We get it, why people push back and don't want to believe it. That can't be true. You know what I'm saying? The new thing that I see going on online now today is, I was this years old when I realized. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be saying that for a lot of stuff. I was this years old when I realized. You're going to be saying that for a lot of different things. By the time, you know, I finish with this video on death versus transition, yeah, you're going to be saying that for a lot of different things. And I have a couple of other topics that's going to be interesting that I'm working on too. So I'm kind of doing these things back to back. You guys will have the second part of this video within a day or two, because like I said, I'm working on multiple things at one time, multitasking. And as I'm getting these topics of things to talk about, I am writing down things so that I don't forget it. So in about a day or two, give or take, I will post the next segment of this video. But for now, I pray that each and every one of you are prosperous, that you guys are careful, that you are being observant, that you know you are keeping your emotions in check during the times of transition that we're going through right now, and that you are not allowing people to use and manipulate you, to bend you to their will. And with that, I say peace, family.